Good morning. Thank you
Morning.
so much for being with me. Who do I have here with me today?
LaFrieda Smith. You can call me LJ.
LJ. I noticed that on the other thing. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
And I want to thank Cohatches letting me use this wonderful room. They really support me. I appreciate it very much. So, LJ, when did we first meet? We first met at the, didn't we first meet over here at the office in Moore with you and Dr. LaFrieda?
Yeah.
Isn't that the first time we
Yeah.
met?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
And it was that business.
Marketing, business and marketing, how to
Business and-
market your business better.
That's right.
type thing.
And
Yeah.
I remember I put your phone number in.
Yeah.
I got you guys reversed. And then I started texting you guys with the reverse, thinking you were this person. And then just yesterday the other day I tried to get in contact with you and I sent it to her again. I think I got my contacts all screwed up on my phone. I'm so sorry. So LJ, tell me, where are you originally from?
Well, I am actually, my family and I are from Cleveland, Ohio.
I'm a Buckeye.
Yeah. We actually moved here in 2011. It was right after the last big storm of snowstorm of Cleveland.
Okay.
Yeah, and we were like, you know what? We're sick of this. So I went on a walk with my husband, and I said, let's move to Florida. And he's like, what? He's like, let's move to Florida. He's like, we can't do that. How are we gonna do that? What money? That's the first thing that comes up is what money.
Of course.
Yeah. So I said, we can do this. Because at the time I was working full time for Pepsi, and I wanted to do a better opportunity, see if there was better opportunities in Florida. So I said, let's do this. And for me, I'm a get up and go person and do it. Him, it's like 1-2 years,
Just plan it
stuff
all
like
out.
that. Yeah, you gotta plan every little thing out. But I love him for that because he does a great job with planning our trips and like the little details,
Sure,
little details.
absolutely.
He's great at that. But me, I'm just up and go. Somebody asked me to do something,
There you
depending
go.
on what it is.
Okay.
But anyway, so it was like 3 months later. We were talking about it in June. We were moving in September.
That is fast. That is
So we had the truck and everything, and we had all 5 of us, we drove to Florida from Cleveland. And we did that in 2.5 days, and it was fun, but it wasn't fun.
Did you have family here? Do you have a contact? Or?
We didn't have anybody here. It was just us.
Oh, my.
And my whole family's in Cleveland. Our whole family's in Cleveland. So when we got here, it was just us. And we had a lot of fun, the first couple months or whatever. And we were like, okay, gotta have a job. I have a job, but because there was an issue with the transfer,
At
the
Pepsi?
process didn't go well.
Ah.
So that first 3 months, I was like devastated. I didn't have a job. So me being me, I wrote a letter, and I'm old school, so I write letters. I wrote a letter to Human Resource Talent Acquisitions, and she actually reached out to me and said that we're gonna fix this. And she did that, and we have been, connections on LinkedIn since then. And this was 2011, 2012. So that Christmas, that was an early Christmas gift for me. I got the job here in Florida. Found out that I had to drive an hour and a half to get to work because it was in Orlando. You know how you look at a map and, well, my husband looks at a map and he's like, well, it's right here. No, we were here. He was here. And I'm like, okay.
And you zoom in
Yeah,
and it gets
I know.
bigger and it's like an
It's like
hour.
2
It
hours.
started out 30 minutes. Oh, that ain't no bad.
Because we moved to Poinciana. And Poinciana and Orlando are like hour and a half. Actually, we had first moved to Palm Bay. And Palm Bay is 2 hours away from Orlando. Thinking, yeah. So we had no idea what to do. So I had to literally drive 2 hours.
And how long did you do
every day.
that for?
I did that for maybe 6 months, and then we had to get out of our lease because it was just too much
Okay.
driving for
Way
me.
too
I had to
much.
get up way early in the morning. I had to start work at 2 in the morning.
AM? Oh
Yeah.
my.
So there was no way I was doing that every day for the rest of my life. So I actually we moved from Palm Bay to Poinciana. And when we did that, it got a little bit easier. It was like 45 minutes, but I still had to do I-4. I-4,
We all
you know,
know. We
yeah,
all know.
you sit there and you see the Disney thing. You're like,
The electric
it's been an
thing.
hour and a half. It's been an
Yeah.
hour and a half. We're still sitting here.
Zoop,
You know, it's
zoop,
like,
zoop, zoop, zoop.
yeah. So I had to do that every day. And my husband, he was retired and he's disabled, so he really wasn't working at the time. So I had to do the full-time thing, and the kids were still young, so they didn't really have jobs. So me having to work 2 o'clock in the morning all the way until like, going through that traffic like that, it was so like in 95, 100-degree weather.
That's
Okay.
sacrifice for your
Yes,
family, for
yes,
the
that
needs of
is-
everybody.
Yes. And then my husband was like, well, why are you so mad? I'm like, really? Really? You want me to roll down today? Okay.
So how'd you get to Lakeland?
Lakeland, actually, Poinciana, we wanted to move out of that rental and we wanted to buy a house. And we didn't know what city to pick yet. We were gonna go to Orlando, but then it's really expensive in Orlando. So then we saw this little city called Lakeland. And Lakeland is not what it was when we got here. Okay, we got here to, I think, 2014, 2015. Nothing.
You remember downtown was
Yes,
empty.
I know. There's
Yeah.
nothing here. So it was like, there's nothing there. Why do we want to go there? Nobody knows what that is. And then we moved here. I bought our first house. Was so proud of that. And we were there 5 years on the south side. Then we said, we got to go bigger because our family is
That's right.
big.
Kids are getting
you know,
bigger. They need
kids
their
are bigger.
privacy.
Yeah, they need all rooms, sections, dorms, the
That's
whole
right.
9
I know.
yards.
I'm the oldest of 4 boys.
Really?
Yeah, and we only had 2 bedrooms. Yeah, we had to share and all
Oh
that.
my God. So we have 2 boys, 2 big boys. They're like in their 20s. And my daughter, she's 20. So, and then she has a boyfriend. And we're all like in one big house. And we're like, we need room. So we moved to the north side of Lakeland and this nice house came up and we stepped on it. It wasn't even on the market yet. And we jumped on it.
Divine intervention.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
But the process was not easy for us. I wrote in my first book, Buying and Selling, the whole process that we went through, and it was during COVID, and it's just terrible.
I'll tell you a real quick funny story is my wife's from Plant City.
Right.
And we looked for a house in Plant City for 6 months.
Mm.
And we would, we were looking, and she said, why don't you go to Lakeland? Go to Lakeland. I was like, babe, I love Plant City. I don't want to go to Lakeland. It's true story. And I'm ashamed to say it.
Yeah.
And 6 months, she was hounding me. We went to this house, looked at it, nothing worked out.
No.
True story.
There's a reason.
She tells me, the day we drove to Lakeland, we drove straight up Memorial Boulevard, we turned left at Lake Parker, we turned right on Edgewater. There was a house for sale by owner. We looked, we pulled in, knocked on the guy's door. He said, yeah, I'm selling. I drove to Office Depot, bought a contract on site, went back to his house, and we signed a contract that day.
What?
True story.
Really?
And to this day, she never lets me down. And of all things, I bought the name. I got the name I Am Lakeland.
Yeah.
And I can't believe it. I was like, holy crap.
Yes.
So you never know how
Yeah.
the Lord's going to work for
Yeah,
you.
my husband didn't know, us moving to Florida would do all these things. We've done more in Florida than we have in our hometown. And our kids are much happier, and it's just, the weather's great. And of course, right after we leave Cleveland, they stop having snowstorms.
Oh,
So I don't know. But anyway, so when we actually moved to the north side and we got this big house, we did renovations on it, it's like a palace now, but we
That's
still
nice.
got
That's
more stuff to
very
do,
nice,
and
yeah.
the kids have their own space now, and it's like, but now that the kids are grown, it's lovely to see that they have jobs and they're all working, and you know, they're doing their own
Life
thing.
is happening for them.
Yeah, lots of
So
things
what happened
there.
with Pepsi?
Well, in 2016, I actually had surgery, a health issue, and I had to have surgery. And then immediately after that, that was when I got hurt. So I found out that I just couldn't do it anymore. And plus the opportunity to get promoted, because I was in a mostly male environment. It didn't matter whether I had the education or not. It just wasn't working out for me, and there's a reason
You
why.
got
it wasn't
politics, you
working
got all kinds of.
Yeah, so, and I lasted there 6 years. So, when I stay with a job, I stay with a job.
That's awesome.
You know,
You know, this is totally out of the blue.
Yeah.
I've been a Pepsi Cola collector for 30 years.
really?
I kid you not. I kid you not. I don't know if I should reveal it. I have a Pepsi tattoo.
What?
I do.
What?
I'm bad, I'm very bad. So when I was like 10 or 11 years old, Pepsi used to come back in bottles, the old glass bottles,
Yeah.
and you got a 10-cent return.
Right.
My dad came to me because he bought it, and he said, Donnie, look at this. And it had a Mountain Dew top on top of it. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. He said, save that. So he gave it to me, and I saved it. And then I just started looking at different Pepsi stuff, because my mom, we love Pepsi. I still love Pepsi.
Yeah.
So I bought this, and I bought that, and it's just accumulated over 30 years. I'm a Pepsi.
Pepsi.
I'm a Pepsi authority. I
Yeah.
know Pepsi well.
Yeah, I actually, before I even worked for Pepsi, I loved Pepsi. And
Yeah.
Coke wasn't the thing.
Yeah.
I just didn't like it.
Same here.
Pepsi, I loved Pepsi, and then I ended up working for them.
That is
It
incredible.
was like, yeah, and I had no experience, nothing, pulling pallets and stuff. I had no experience, but they hired me in Cleveland. They gave me a chance, and
It works
lo and
out.
behold,
That's right.
6 years later, I was a trainer, I was a mentor, I was an everything,
That's cool.
salesperson.
So how did you get from, let's say, leaving Pepsi and the health issues to you're an advocate for autism? How did that come about?
Well, for me, my advocacy has always started with my youngest son. He was diagnosed at 3 years old. In 2000, they really didn't know a lot about autism. I didn't even know what that was.
I still don't know a lot of it.
Yeah,
I'm still being educated.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know, and I was over the years, me and my husband have educated ourselves a lot on the different stages and stuff, and we've gone through a lot of things with our son.
Trial.
So
and
that's
error.
how, trial and error, and it's like with any child, there's different stages that they go through. So you have to just pay attention to what they're doing and react accordingly. For me, my son now, with him, he graduated high school. He's had 2 jobs, sustained 2 jobs. He's worked at Publix for 7 years.
Oh, wow.
He's worked at the Cleveland Heights Golf Course, about 3 years, 2 to 3 years now. And they actually hired him because the owner actually said that he wanted to hire someone that had a disability, and he asked my daughter's boyfriend because he worked there as a dishwasher at the time.
Okay.
Now he's one of the cooks. But he asked him, he said, do you know anyone on the autism spectrum and stuff like that? And he said, well, my, future brother-in-law or my, girlfriend's brother does. And he went in for an interview, and
That's awesome.
he got that interview, and he also was able to do his internship there from college, because he was in culinary school, and they had to do a 12-week externship, and he actually was able to do it there
Isn't that nice?
Yeah, I
it's
know.
wonderful how it turns out like that.
Yeah, I love that. And he did that, and he's a dishwasher. He does all kind of, they love him there. I kid him about when, cause I'm a part of ABWA now, newer member.
What is that?
American Business Women's Association.
Okay.
So I'm part of the Lakeland chapter.
Okay.
And they have a once a month at the Cleveland Heights Golf Course. So I was there, I think, what was it, August, and they had their meeting, and I was like, okay, my son's gonna be working that day. So then me and him took a picture.
Isn't that nice?
Day.
Absolutely.
He's like, it's like looking around and like, yeah, you guys are still here? Yeah.
So along the way of your son growing up, I imagine you retained it and you decided, hey, I'm going to put this in a book for other people as a resource.
Yeah. So the book, actually, the children's book, actually, I wanted to add like the real people, real situations, because most children's books have like cats, dogs, stuff like that. And I said, you know what, I'm going to put real people with real talents in there. So that's why LJGlobalCommunications LLC is advocating for the many talents of children and adults on the autism spectrum. So what we do is we highlight each one of their many talents, which everyone should be highlighting their own talents. Most of us, we keep it in, we don't, let the world know. But people on the autism spectrum, they're not afraid to go out and for me, I'm autistic, and I love showing that I'm outgoing and can speak to people and stuff like that.
Socially, I find myself sometimes caring about what other people think.
Yeah.
And then if you just throw that out the window and you don't care what people think, you're your true self. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to do that. Yeah. God bless you. May the Lord bless you. But what you think is not up to me. Mm-hmm. I'm just gonna be the best I can be.
Yeah.
I can imagine.
And that's kind of how you have to be with as a speaker. As a speaker for me, and I've spoken at like graduations and stuff like that, I just go out there and it's like a comedian. You be yourself. Forget about, the formality of it. Mm-hmm. Forget about, you'll be nervous. Anybody that's not nervous when they're speaking, that's a lie. I get nervous every time.
Then they don't have no sincerity.
Stage. Yeah. So you get on stage and the stage, remember why you're speaking. You're speaking to the audience, and the audience wants to absorb whatever you're saying and learn something. So and I've said this before, speaking is not just about the words, it's about the impression you leave. So for me, I get up on stage, I do what I do, I'm myself, forget the formality. Mm-hmm. People laugh, if they don't laugh, whatever,
There's many different senses of humor.
Yeah, just like the same thing with comedians, they do the same thing.
That's
they get up there, some people are not gonna laugh at your jokes. Most of the audience
Everybody's different. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah. So for me, speaking about advocacy for autism, what that does is just gets that education out there, and lets people know, yeah, I have talent. I have a talent. Sometimes I wasn't able to showcase that with the many jobs that I had, because you don't get that opportunity. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna make a platform for myself. Mm-hmm. Just do it for me and others that can't, showcase those talents freely because they're, scared that somebody's going to tell them, well, whatever. So with this book, the first book, Top of the Muffin to You.
Top of the Muffin to You.
Yeah. So my husband and I, we came up with this because we're both co-authors on it.
Okay.
And he loves working on it because it brings him back to being a child.
Oh.
Yeah, he loves it. And he said that we wanted to center it around our favorite comedy, which was Seinfeld.
I was scared to ask. I was scared to ask. I was like, I wonder if there's any association with that.
Yeah, so the Baker series is going to be centered around Seinfeld. Some episodes, because my son and I, we love food, and most of the episodes deal with food. So the first book, Top of the Muffin to You, is an episode where Elaine pitches to her boss that about muffins. She loves those poppy seed muffins and stuff like that, and he wanted to do something different. So she says, well, this is $1 million idea, just sell the tops of the muffins. So then he opens a big storefront, and it says Top of the Muffin to You. And she's like, because she sees somebody walking down the street with it, and she's like, well, where did you get that? And he's like, there's a muffin top store down the street.
So cute, it really is.
Yeah, so she goes in there, and she's like, and he says, Top of the Muffin to You. And she's like, what? What are you doing? It's my idea. So then she sits down with him, and at first she didn't want to help him, because she's like, that's my idea. And then he's like, well, I'll cut you in on the profits. Okay, this is what you need to do.
That changes everything.
Yeah, I know, right? So, and at the end, she's like, well, and another thing, it's not Top of the Muffin to You. And he's like, yes, it is. Yes, it is. That's what it is. So that's why I put the exclamation points in there.
Okay.
My husband didn't like the exclamation points, but the exclamation points puts an emphasis on, I'm saying hello to you, and have a great day, and with this book.
I'll tell you something on the side there. Where I'm from, a little town north of Cincinnati called Hamilton, Ohio.
Yeah.
It's the only city in America that is an exclamation point after Hamilton, exclamation point. I kid you not. You look on any map, it says Hamilton with an exclamation point.
Really?
It's the only one. Yeah, that's fun.
Oh
funny.
my God.
Yeah, I'm like, because I got the shirt and everything, I was like, so Hamilton. So it's funny the way they do that. So it does work.
Yeah. So with this book, what we did was I got a friend of mine who's a Lakeland high school teacher. She's actually a math teacher. She teaches, she's actually a director now of the math department at Lakeland High School.
Oh, okay.
Deborah Craig. And she actually has 2 children on the autism spectrum. One's nonverbal and one's really outgoing. And I said, well, let me put them in the book. And then I said, well, why don't I get some more people that I know and put them in the book? So then I got them 3 to come in the book, and she's the actual teacher in the book.
That's nice.
And then I saw a friend of ours, me and Devin's friend, Tony Anthony. He's a cook, and he's actually in North Carolina, and he's on the autism spectrum, and he loves to cook. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna put him in the book. And then I had another friend of mine who's out in Zephyr Hills, and I said, her son is artistic. He loves drawing pictures, swans, and stuff like that. His name is Christopher. So I said, you know what, Keely, I'd love to put him
There's
in
no
the book.
limit.
Yeah. So all 7 of us are in the book, including myself. I'm the sunflower girl.
Pretty.
And I have actually autistic and have dyslexia. So part of my thing is I'm a bookworm.
There's a book in me, but I can't get it out. I can't imagine the work that you've done.
Wait a minute, wait. Don't ever say that you can't get that book out. Okay, if you can write, you got a book.
I can dictate.
Okay.
Listen to this.
Do it.
Write it down.
Yeah, there is nothing you can't do when you have an idea. Write it down, dictate it, whatever. That book is there for you.
I hear that from all the authors.
Yeah.
All the authors I hear that from, because I've spoken to a lot of people who've taken the discipline and writing it, putting it down, and they all say the same thing. You can do it. I was in your position. Just start.
Yeah, people already know you. You already have a platform. People will buy your book.
Wow.
You can self-publish. It's not that, it's, it's a easy and hard process. The easy part is self-publishing it. The hard part is writing it and marketing it. So if you already have an audience, there you go. You already marketed it, you're good.
That's wonderful.
So you have a name behind you like mine. I didn't start out with an audience. So it kind of, when I started my author career, it really wasn't taking off. But then now that I've established myself and people know what I'm all about, now the children's book series makes sense. And if you write that book, believe me, I Am Lakeland.
That's what's on my website. There's more and more, I'm adding authors. It's mostly, I thought, I'll sell your shirt, I'll sell your cup or whatever. No. I put their book on the site, they click on it, goes to Amazon, they get all the funds. It's just a place for me to start promoting people. And I don't know, books just seem to be the thing that's taken off.
Yeah, because people love to read about other people's experiences. That's the thing. If you don't write the book, people don't know about your experiences and they can't take anything away from it if you don't write it.
Yeah.
For me, writing this helps me get all of our talents out there, gets everybody to know a little bit more about people on the spectrum, what we do and how we behave. Like our first book, Top of the Muffin to You, it actually is a book where they're setting up the classroom and they're making muffins, okay? But there's a social aspect of it. Baker is shy and there's a new student. So there's gonna be challenges and things. Not that people that are not on the spectrum don't have challenges, but for us, it's a little bit more complicated because of our social development and cognitive development.
I never knew growing up, I really didn't. I did not know growing up that developing social skills was an issue. I just went through life with this blindfold on, and it never occurred to me. Then when I became a father, I expected my kids to just do what I did. Take it for granted that you can do whatever you want. Well, one of them did and one of them didn't. My son is fantastic, but he's not outgoing. My daughter, I have to put a rope around her. She's super. So they're just different. But I did not know that growing up. I did not.
Yeah, and they don't teach that in school.
Yeah, they don't.
That's one of those things, social skills, stuff like that. But that's one of the major projects that I'm working on down the line. I don't want to reveal it. So I'm working on teaching more and speaking more on practical skills, life skills, stuff like that.
That's wonderful.
So I'm gonna put it on a platform.
And unfortunately, it's very unfortunate from my point of view. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't see it getting better. I see it's getting
worse.
Yeah.
Because of social media.
So the more someone's out there trying to solve the issue.
Nobody's trying to solve it. They're just adding to the problem.
Right.
Basically, and it doesn't help that we see stuff on TV that, is not appropriate.
Yeah.
Or something that, I'm old school.
And that social media, like you said.
Like flick, flick. And everybody wants to be entertained, but here's the thing, they're not learning anything.
Killing time.
It's like killing time, and it's just a waste of time. For me, I don't scroll. There's no scrolling. If it doesn't do anything for my business, I'm not scrolling. And a lot of people say, well, I don't have time. We still have the same amount of time.
That's right.
In a day. 24 hours has always been, my dad told me, he said, you can do like 8-9 things in a day. Okay, people can have 8-9 businesses in a day if they just prioritize each thing. But
Listen
people
to
say,
your
well, they don't have
husband.
time. No, my dad.
I'm not your dad, sorry.
Yeah. My dad told me that. He's like, yeah, people say, well, I don't have enough time, but there's 24 hours in a day, and there's always been 24 hours in a day. And he's like, well, I don't have time to read my email. What's the first thing?
It's a priority list. They need to set the priorities together in a priority list.
Yeah.
If you got scrolling on social media way up here and it should be down here.
Yeah.
Reorganize your priorities.
Yeah, do that at the end of the day or something.
So how did you get from writing the book to be a speaker?
Mhm.
Did you get invitations? How is that developing?
Well, for me, what you have to do is you just have to make appearances on podcasts, such as
Like this,
Lakeland.
okay.
When you start doing that, people start to see that you're open to certain topics and stuff like that. And then when they see what's important to you, they'll invite you to, or you can go out there and seek it. Sometimes stuff don't come to you. You got to go to it.
That's right.
And for me, that's what I look for, the opportunities to get out there, even if it's free.
Hopefully it's free.
I know.
I don't charge anybody.
Yeah. So it's like, those are the best ones, when they're free. But people will tell you, well, you need to start getting paid.
I've heard the
like,
same things.
It'll come. Opportunities like that will come. It's like my speaking. Okay, I did a graduation the last Friday. Okay, that was my first speaking engagement at Kaiser College, which, by the way, this is my last week.
Oh, congratulations! You graduating
I'm
or
about to
just
be
a semester?
graduated. I'm done. I'm going to be done.
Well, all right. What's your
My bachelor's in business marketing and communications.
Fantastic.
That was my last class. Oh, thank you.
I remember. I went back to college when I was 43.
I went back at 35, and I was like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
And then I said, well, I'm not going to do this anymore.
That's exactly what I'm saying now. I sit in the front classroom, the teacher's right there, and all these young kids are behind me, and I'm here to pay attention. And I'm like, Grandpa, you're in my way,
He's in the back.
That's right.
It was interesting, but so you have to do things for free. And I did the graduation pinning ceremony for the diagnostic sonography program, and she wanted to have me talk about the skill sets that they had would transfer over into other things. So I call it transferable skills. The skills that you learn throughout, people, education, and experience. That equals experience.
Right.
So I taught them that, and it was a great experience because that 15 minutes, which is like a TED Talk, that was the first time I ever did 15 minutes in a speech. And no memorization. And the one thing about me is,
Did it get videotaped? Is it videotaped? We can see it somewhere?
Yeah. You can see like a piece of it, like on the on my YouTube. I mean, I can do like the whole segment on YouTube, but I haven't put it up there yet. Got so many things.
I'm fine.
So many things on. But anyway, so I was able to do that in 15 minutes, which is less than the time for a TED Talk. And that was great practice for me.
Absolutely.
And I loved that. And then I had no idea that I had done 15 minutes. 15 minutes seems like a short amount of time.
In your mind, do you see the people?
Yeah.
Then when you were talking, you can see them?
Right in front of you. And but I was up there and I felt like a comedian.
You were
just go
comfortable?
up there and comfortable and just start talking. And one thing about me is I don't rehearse anything anymore. When I used to rehearse things, like when I was doing the Kaiser business pitch back in March, I did that for weeks and get up there and messed up. Yeah. But I got fourth place. So I was okay.
You're conscious of the mistake you made.
Yeah.
Compared to your practicing.
I wasn't myself at that time. That was when I was first beginning to speak.
That's right.
And the thing is, you gotta be yourself. If you're not yourself and you let all this formality, there's a difference between professionalism and formalities. Okay, you can be professional and be still yourself. For me, that's what I do. You know what I'm saying? So when I'm up there on stage, I'm just flowing like I'm talking to my kids.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
If you're trying to fool people and you're not being yourself, you're only fooling yourself. You're not fooling everybody else. Just be yourself. Just be you.
So so I also when you see opportunities where you could be on stage, do it. I am a part of a book publishing academy. It's run by Janine Hernandez, and this will be our first year. We'll be doing it in person, because the last couple of years we've been doing it virtually. So we're going to do it first in person in Arizona, Phoenix. And she said, well, we're calling for speakers.
So you're going to go out there, or you're going to do it virtually?
I'm going out there.
You are?
I'm
okay.
going out there. I'm going on stage.
My.
So, yeah. So, I'm not afraid to do it.
I'll watch the video.
I was the first person to do the Google form, and I'm always that first person right on top of that opportunity, because it's like, if you're not first, then you're last.
Yeah.
So, I got on there. I did a video because they wanted us to do a video asking, telling us why we should pick you. And then she's like, who is this woman? I don't know this woman, because she's known me for like 2-3 years. She's like, who is this? Oh my God, I just love the transformation.
That feels good, doesn't it?
Yes.
That feels so good.
It's like, I'm like, yeah, I knew I could do this, and I did it. So, but you know, they have one author spot, and I'm hoping to get that spot.
Well, all right.
Yeah.
So, when you say the book and the series, this is going to be in the future.
Yeah.
What's in the future for you all together?
Right now, we have finished writing the second book. Next month is when we're going to reveal the second cover.
Okay.
All of these books are still going to be tied in with Seinfeld, and they're all going to be related to something of Seinfeld. They're appropriate.
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah. So all 5 books. We have all 5 books. We have somewhat of titles, but we're still working on them a little bit. And I've also developed I actually hired somebody to do a teacher's guide. She's actually a principal and a teacher in Ohio, and she put a teacher's guide together for my books. So if there's a teacher out there that's looking for a lesson plan guide, and wants the Baker series in their classroom, special education, anything. This teacher's guide.
You have a website that people go to?
Yeah, it's just www.lafriedasmith.com. All you gotta do is email me, let me know that you want it for your classroom, and
LaFriedasmith.com.
Right.
Okay.
And everything is on there. And this teacher's guide has the first 2 books of activities, and it's 17 pages, and it'll make it so much easier to go through lessons with your children in the classroom. They love baking. There's lessons about vegetables, stuff like that. There are different things that they can do inside of this teacher's guide. So I'm going to be giving that away for free with purchase of books for the classrooms. So
that's extra resources.
Yeah, extra resources, and resources are good.
You mentioned that Seinfeld episode.
Yeah.
And I remember in the scene, I guess they took the bottoms of the cupcakes and gave them to the homeless.
She took the bottom of the cupcake off, and she told him he's got to make the whole cupcake, because all he did was make the tops of the muffins, and you can't make the tops of the muffin because it's not going to taste the same. So you got to make the whole thing. And then they were trying to give it to the homeless, and that's not working. Okay. But what I thought they should have done was take the bottoms, put them in little baggies, and sold them separately to the customers. Okay, for like $1 or something.
Yeah, put cream in it or something.
Yeah,
turn it into something. Yeah.
Turn it into something. But they had to hire somebody to come in, and Newman comes in, and he's got glasses of milk, and I'm like, is he gonna sit there and eat all those? Really?
I remember the actress, the character was Good morning, Rebecca Demore.
Rebecca DeMoray.
And she
Yeah.
says, what are you gonna bring? Chicken skins next time
I
or
know,
something like
right?
that?
Yeah. She's like, so the host is being picky? Yeah, really? Seriously? You go from not having nothing to something.
That is
you know,
so funny.
You know, she's like, where's the top of these muffins?
That is
You know,
funny.
You know, there's this complaining. I'm like, they're complaining about food? Seriously?
That's right.
You know.
That's
yeah,
comedy gold.
classic.
Well, I'm glad to see you can make an association to help kids
Mhm.
and help people, adults and everybody.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that we can include to inform people?
So like I
You
said,
have an ex-
next month, we're gonna be revealing our
Okay.
second cover. Follow me on, Instagram at LaFrieda2.
LaFrieda what?
LaFrieda2.
What's-
LaFrieda2.
Oh, the number 2, okay.
Yeah, number 2. My website is www.lafriedasmith.com. I have the book series is the Baker series. There's gonna be 5 books. Second one's gonna be revealed next month. We're gonna do a whole bunch of like different, now that I have a lot more time and I'm out of school, I'm gonna have a lot more time doing more videos and stuff like that. And you guys don't be surprised to see me on stage.
Come back here.
Yes.
Come
we're
back
gonna be
here.
coming
We'll
back
do it
here.
again after your book comes out.
Yeah.
And I'll ask you right now, I mean, I'd love to put you on my site.
Yeah.
And get as much
Yeah.
people out there at the platform.
Yeah,
and-
because right now we just turned Top of the Muffin to You into a ebook. So the ebook is 99 cents.
So you can just
So-
download it and watch it, read it, and you have to wait for.
Yep, that Top of the Muffin, you can get that on Amazon, so I'll give you the link for that, and they can download that and get that, and
Fantastic. Make the
Exactly.
world a better place.
yeah, because I want everybody to read it. You know, I don't really, it's not about the money for
It's
me,
not about-
it's about, you know, the education, the advocacy, I want everybody to get a copy of this book, whether it be ebook or in person. But I do have another event coming up. It's in Lakeland. Love Lakeland. December 3rd, Lakeland Women's Day. Touch of Magic Events. I'm the sponsor, LJGlobalCommunications LLC. Me and my son and I will be doing a cooking and safeties demonstration for the audience.
Where is this gonna be at?
This is gonna be at the RP Funding Center.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, December 3rd.
Wow, that's,
Yeah, so I'm the sponsor of the event, and this women come out, get pampered and, beautified and, shop, and, we'll do, we're gonna do a demonstration, cooking and safety demonstration. We're also gonna cook something, probably no bake, cause there's no ovens or anything, but, my son and I are gonna take that opportunity to expose Cooking with Baker and LJ, which is on our YouTube channel, which is the
Okay.
keyword 22. We do recipes all the time, and we upload them. You follow along with us, but we're Baker and LJ, and we love to eat and cook.
fantastic.
Yeah.
You're moving up. Keep going, keep going. Thank you so much for being my guest.
Thank you so much.
And we'll have you back. God bless. Have a wonderful day.
You too.